Hey guys, this is my update video for Japanese for about, I'm gonna say 4 months in. It's actually been like 5 or 6 months, but in August I pretty much didn't really do anything except maintain my current level, and it just feels like it's been about 4 months of actual, studying. So I just wanted to talk about where I'm at right now, which currently I was doing the lazy kanji deck, which is now called recognition kanji. It's from the Remembering the Kanji book, where it's, the 1,000 most frequent kanji. So I'm still reviewing those. My retention rate on that is not too bad. Typically I'll have about, on average, only like 20 kanji to review every morning. Out of those, I maybe forget 1 or 2, which isn't terrible, I think. So I'm just keeping up with those 1,000 kanji. And then I'm also seeing kanji when I go through and look at like new sentences. Because this book right now is what I'm really going through daily, getting sentences out of this. I'm about 400 sentences through that right now. Kind of using furigana on a lot of my kanji, even though that's not the best way to learn how to read, I guess. But I feel like in the beginning, it's just too much to dive straight into, readings of kanji without any help at all. So I'm using furigana to assist myself with reading, at least in the N5 deck. And then when I move on to the next book, N4, and when I move on to sentence mining from shows and stuff, I'm going to try to not use furigana for anything unless absolutely necessary. So aside from doing the N5 book right now, I'm also doing grammar study of about 15 minutes a day, I'd say, which I'm still using Tae Kim's book, which is really good. And then I go through about 2 or 3 pages of that every day, try to. But then another helpful thing for grammar that I'm going through is the channel on YouTube, which I'll link below, which is Japanese Ammo with Misa. She's a Japanese native and she speaks English pretty well. She does a great job of explaining all the different grammar concepts, all the way from the very beginner level to pretty advanced stuff. And her videos are like 40 minutes long each, so she goes into pretty good detail. And then Japanese from Zero with George, that's kind of helpful too. If you're really beginner level, sometimes I'll watch his videos still, but I think it's good to not spend too much time on grammar, just sort of getting a basic idea of how it works, just to sort of increase your comprehension for when you're listening to Japanese or reading it, is helpful in the beginning. But it's like Matt versus Japan says, you're not really going to fully understand grammar until you've learned it through just listening to the language. That's how you'll cement grammar. As far as immersion goes, though, which is where you actually learn the most, I'm still kind of slacking in that field. I'm trying to start out with just like an hour a day of listening, active listening. But so far I've been doing too much Anki, not enough immersion. So my goal for the rest of September is to, really do at least an hour a day of active listening. And then starting next month, I want to get into, at least 2 hours a day. And then my ultimate goal after that is at least, 3 hours a day of active immersion. Because that's really where you learn a language. That's where you acquire the language from, is actually from immersion and listening to it and reading it and stuff. Anki is just sort of, the flashcards. That's just a supplement to sort of introduce you to new words and help you remember them. But it's not really where you're going to acquire the language. Immersion's really where you're going to get it. And so stuff I'm using for immersion right now is, shows like Terrace House on Netflix. That's really good for unscripted, more casual Japanese. Then there's a show on Netflix that's almost seems like it's made for children. It's called Rilakuma and Kaoru. Those are like short little 12-minute episodes, I think. But the vocabulary seems really basic, so that's really good for just starting out. And then certain anime like Devilman Crybaby, or the movie Your Name, stuff like that is fun to watch. So I'm starting out with that right now. So mostly relying on Netflix, and then YouTube. I'm using the VPN. I can't remember, the Urban VPN, I think, for Google Chrome right now to get on YouTube, and that's my passive immersion. But that's a really good source as well. So then also when I was in Portland a little while ago, I went to the bookstore. Can't remember what it's called right now. I think Powell's, the big bookstore there, and they had a Japanese book section. And I found this, which looks like a gem. But yeah, it's basically just short stories that are in the original Japanese. And then it's got the translation as well. But the awesome thing is it's also got native audio recorded by a Japanese voice actor, I think, or some actress. But that seems really useful for just reading practice once I get to that level, which will probably be at least another 4 months from now, I'd say. That's pretty much it for now. I'm about, like I said, 400, so almost halfway through the in 5,000 sentences. So that feels good. And then I just have to step up the immersion. But I'll probably make another update video in maybe 2 months from now, just to update you on how the immersion's going. But yeah, that's about it. So I'll see you next time.